Good day, people. This is ADEC. ADEC entity. ADEC entity is actually fulfilling its objective on the issues that it spoke about. We spoke about the three topics that we'll be actually presenting today, which is the first point was be an internationalist, and now today we're talking about very exciting point about, but all of these points I want to mention that they are basically more about management. Even though the organization Coaching Academy, which is ADEC, is actually its actually point of focus in its services, it's all about philosophy in leadership, philosophy in management, philosophy in thinking, and philosophy in economy. These are actually points that we actually focus our services on. This project today is basically about support committed champions. I'm going to be talking more about that, and the time given to this topic is not so limited in giving the exact time frame of the project that I will be actually presenting. But I wonder what comes to you as a person when you start to hear about this title, Support Committed Champions. Well, I'm going to tell you, but before I do that, I like one of Paul McCartney's sort of like pulling legs statements. I would like to read it to you. I used to think that anyone doing anything weird was weird. I suddenly realized that anyone doing anything weird wasn't weird at all, and that it was the people saying they were weird that were weird. This is actually very kind of jokey, but I love it. It's quite a good way of actually putting something that takes time to make sense. It's got a little bit of a logic, but it's something that if you listen to it, it's deep, And the other one for George Bernard Shaw on Man and Superman, he states that the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. I welcome you people on our support committed champions. Champions are required in everywhere. And basically, I'm going to start on, venting on this topic, on this title. One of the things that I would like to state as an organization, ADEC, is that, the most important thing that we've got to remember as successful organizations, there will always be upcoming champions. Obviously, when I say successful organization, I'm talking about the real champions. But we've got those hopefuls, those ones that are actually coming up, that aspire to be. But we've got to support those that are committed. When I talk about champions, I talk about entrepreneurs. I talk about people that are heroes in the market. I talk about people that are actually committed in developing and improving the economy. I'm talking about those people that control economy, those people that feeds the houses that are out there, those people that actually get so worried when the country become on a junk status. I talk about people that get concerned when it comes to not to improve from the current state of the state. But now what happens when it comes to those champions that are persisting on their ideas? What do we do in supporting those people that have been pushing very hard in getting where they want to be? We've got to support committed champions. An entrepreneur is a committed champion. A person who has an idea, who doesn't sit back and continue to actually push regardless of state, regardless of issues in the state, regardless of, pertaining issues that might block and be obstacles in what he wants to deliver, he wants to drive, he wants to succeed on. Those are champions. And those champions are required, because champions sustain the world. We've got different inventions. I can talk about anything. I mean, even the camera, the video camera that is, used by this organization that is taking this video, Adventel. But I mean, that is an invention of a champion, I'm talking about those visionary people that are succeeding. We've got to support them. But now, what is it that exactly must be done in order to support these committed champions? There's quite a lot that can be done. There's quite a lot that can be put in place in supporting these champions. At some point, I think it's a bit embarrassing when you know that in a state there are billionaires. There are billionaires in a state, but they are not supporting those champions that are actually upcoming. That takes me to a point that only the unreasonable champions that can succeed. I can quote from one of the case studies, international classic case studies about, one of the biggest, champions, Soichiro Honda, what he used to do in his time, in order to actually prove that he was the biggest, champion. But what would he used to do to people that were looking up to him, But that's actually a topic for another day, But I believe that everybody has to be supported, especially those that actually are champions, I believe that, the reason why we actually have, a little percentage when it comes to employment, jobs. There's quite a lot of people that are actually champions out there. Those people that can actually do a lot in terms of creating opportunities for those that are still looking to help by actually, offering jobs, but they've got to be supported. And that takes me to another point, that everybody can and must be a champion. Everybody can and must be a champion. But in order for you as a person to be a champion, what you need to do, you've got to wake up to where you are and start doing something for yourself. But in order to be able to do something for yourself, you've got to be supported by those ones that are in the edge of the market. We've got billionaires in the world. We've got billionaires in the state. We've got billionaires in Africa, but we don't have a project that can support the upcoming ones, the champions, that aspire to be recognized in the world. But what can we do? We've got to support them, But in order for those champions to be supported, but they've got to be recognized by their local state so that they can be able, to be recognized, But the question is there a program? Is there a program, is there a project that is in place that will pinpoint in each area in a local state to prove that there is actually something that is being done in improving and actually uplifting those champions? I don't think so. And I believe that if we can have such projects, there's quite a lot of improvement that can happen in everybody's life. When I say in everybody's life, in everybody's idea. Because the things that we see with our eyes, the creations that we see, those are people's ideas. We've got to motivate, we've got to improve, we've got to thrive, we've got to have systems in place in order to support those champions. But then what do we do in a situation whereby there is no projects or no programs, no progressive measures that can be utilized in making sure that, these champions are assisted? What do we do? That is a topic for another day. But it's a topic that has to be addressed. And it's a topic that needs a sort of indaba, a sort of summit, a sort of a project that can focus solely in those champions, because, if you look at the symmetries, when you look at symmetries, those are people's dreams that are sleeping there. Those are people's dreams that are sleeping there. Those are people that had, dreams to make improvements in a state, But then, what can we do? What must be done? I think that's a perfect way of asking this question. What can be done in order to make sure that these ones that are living, these ones are trying very hard, these champions that are still fighting for survival, they've got to be a project to support these champions. They've got to be a sort of a strategy that can be utilized in order to reach out to them so that they can actually, make a difference, not only in the community, on a bigger space, on a bigger scale, in a country by large. Because I believe that if something can be done, there can be a big change. A change doesn't just happen. A change happens when committed people, committed champions are supported. Committed champions they motivate, they become role models when they have survived in everything that they were actually pursuing, you know. So I'm going to stop there, but I want to thank you people for this time, and thanks to ADEC for actually coming out with this project, and thanks to ADEC for actually, coming with this idea in order to idealize, to put it out there so that it can be actually presented, in order to be actually given to the viewers, because we need such organizations that are actually creative in terms of actually thinking of the creative ways and innovative ways that can actually change, the state, that can change, the country, that can change, areas of the state, so that our state can be more competitive on our own. Thank you, people. May God bless you.